Students, here we continue with the development of urinary bladder in the embryogenesis part 2. So therefore, in the embryogenesis part 2, we will discuss the urorectal septum and how this urorectal septum will divide the endodermal cloaca into two different segments. So first, with a line diagram, here we are going to show the sagittal section of the umbilical cord. Same way over here, we are going to show the infraumbilical part of abdominal wall. Similarly, on here we are going to show the portion of the hindgut and the cloacal membrane. Now here, before we draw the cloacal membrane, we should draw the first structure, genital tubercle. So therefore, with respect to genital tubercle, this will be the genital tubercle over here. Then we show the cloacal membrane, and this cloacal membrane is surrounded by the two genital folds, which we have seen in the previous segment in embryogenesis part 1, where we have developed the genital folds, genital tubercle. In between there will be cloacal membrane. So therefore, here when we show the cloacal membrane, this is how we show this cloacal membrane. Similarly, now a little bit of cloacal membrane will be extended on this side inferiorly caudally. This is where the cloacal membrane is there. Now we show the endodermal cloaca and how this endodermal cloaca is divided by development of urorectal septum into a dorsal and ventral portion. That is what we need to show. So therefore, in order to show that, we are going to draw over here the first structure, and that will be in this way. We will show this is the urorectal septum, and over here we show this is the dorsal and ventral portion. So therefore here we will extend it lower down. This is where we will extend, and this portion over here we will extend till this level. So now the entire urorectal septum, where my hand is there, is growing inferiorly, caudally, and will divide the entire endodermal cloaca into two segments. And what are those two segments? Those two segments will be where I put the arrow. Number 1, ventral segment, and number 2, the dorsal segment. The dorsal segment will be known as primitive rectum. Please try and mention this, mark it as primitive rectum. And the ventral segment will be known as primitive urogenital sinus. So here, this segment will be primitive urogenital sinus. Please mark it. So the entire endodermal cloaca is split into ventral and dorsal divisions. The ventral division is called primitive urogenital sinus, dorsal division is known as primitive rectum by the development of urorectal septum. This is very important. This is what we are going to discuss. Urorectal septum. How this urorectal septum is developed. This urorectal septum, now here, if I just put some blue color inside, this is where I show the entire urorectal septum. Now this urorectal septum is developed in such a way by merging of the three folds, one vertical and two lateral. Vertical fold is coming from the ventral wall of the hindgut. So from the ventral wall of hindgut, a vertical fold will come, it will descend down, it will migrate in the caudal direction, and that vertical fold, the name of that vertical fold is the fold of Dorniak's. It is often asked in 1 mark question answer MCQ. So urorectal septum, now if I mention this as urorectal septum, it is comprising of three folds. Number 1, the first vertical fold, which will be known as the fold of Tourneaux, 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 one vertical fold. It will merge with the two lateral folds coming from either side in the endodermal cloaca, the two lateral folds. And these two lateral folds, they are known as fold of Rathke. They are called fold of Rathke. Two lateral folds, fold of Rathke, which will join with the caudal migrating fold, vertical fold, fold of Tourneaux. This is asked in MCQ. Fold of Tourneaux, the two folds, lateral folds of Rathke. These three folds will join and form the urorectal septum, which will divide the entire endodermal cloaca into ventral and dorsal division. The ventral division will be known as primitive urogenital sinus and the dorsal division will be known as primitive rectum. Very simple. So therefore, this is the diagram, this is how urorectal septum is developed. Now here, on this side if I write urorectal septum which divides the endodermal cloaca, if I mention in this flowchart, into two parts, the primitive urogenital sinus and the second part I will write it as the primitive rectum here. These are the two parts where urorectal septum will divide endodermal cloaca into these two divisions. Now what will happen? Now there will be a communication which is present. Now that communication we have to show in this diagram between the primitive urogenital sinus and the primitive rectum through a caudal running duct, and that duct we will show over here. So there will be a modification in this diagram and we will show the duct which is running over here. So this is how the duct will run. This is the communication. Here I am showing with the help of this U-shaped arrow. So this duct is known as cloacal duct over here. So this is the second important point. Please mention this as cloacal duct. Sometimes you are asked this 1 mark question answer. What is cloacal duct? At this stage in the development of urorectal septum, there is presence of cloacal duct which is present between caudal edge of urorectal septum. This is the caudal edge of urorectal septum and cloacal membrane. This is cloacal membrane. So between caudal edge of urorectal septum and cloacal membrane, there is the presence of cloacal duct which will provide as a communicating link between primitive urogenital sinus and primitive rectum. This is the second most important point. Once again I will repeat. In between the caudal end of urorectal septum and cloacal membrane, there is cloacal duct, presence of cloacal duct, which will serve as a communicating link between primitive urogenital sinus and primitive rectum. Now, coming back to urorectal septum. In the urorectal septum, we have to draw two mesonephric ducts and two paramesonephric ducts. And do not complicate. Be crystal clear. The two, first we shall draw the two mesonephric ducts. The two mesonephric ducts we are going to draw and we are going to show with the orange color. For example, we show the two mesonephric ducts which we draw it like this. They are opening here. These are the two mesonephric ducts. This is how we show where they open in the dorsal part of primitive urogenital sinus. They will open in the dorsal part of primitive urogenital sinus. The two mesonephric ducts. Do not complicate. These are the two mesonephric ducts. So we will first mention them as, here we are going to write it as mesonephric ducts. Other name of mesonephric ducts will be Wolffian duct. Remember, these are small questions which are important from the point of view of MCQs or 1 mark question answer. They are Wolffian ducts. Now, as they are coming from above in the coelomic cavity, where in our segment of paramesonephric duct we have discussed this, there will be at the same time two paramesonephric ducts. Now, one point should be very clear at this stage will be the two paramesonephric ducts as they are they are descending down from cephalic portion, from the coelomic cavity. Initially the two paramesonephric ducts are lying lateral to the mesonephric ducts. So with the help of, now I will use with the help of green color the paramesonephric ducts we shall draw. the two paramesonephric ducts initially in the upper level, at the cephalic level, they are lying lateral to mesonephric ducts. So here we are going to draw the two paramesonephric ducts. This is what we show. They are coming from above, lying lateral to mesonephric ducts. But these two paramesonephric ducts, which are also called Mullerian ducts, will cross in front of mesonephric ducts, ventral to mesonephric ducts, and then they will cross ventral and medial to mesonephric ducts. They will come to lie medial to mesonephric ducts. Where will they cross? Urorectal septum. So in the urorectal septum, here we show they will cross, they are crossing. Please show that they are crossing in the urorectal septum, and therefore they are lying just medial to the two mesonephric ducts. This is very important. The two paramesonephric ducts, right and left side, they are crossing the two mesonephric ducts, and therefore they will cross ventral and they will lie medial to the mesonephric ducts. So therefore, in urorectal septum, now the question will be, it can be asked in MCQ or in one mark question answer, what are the structures present in urorectal septum? In the urorectal septum, the following structures are present. A pair of Mullerian ducts, that is paramesonephric ducts, and a pair of Wolffian ducts, that is mesonephric ducts. What is the arrangement? The arrangement will be laterally, there will be two mesonephric ducts which are called Wolffian ducts, and medially there will be two paramesonephric ducts which are called Mullerian ducts. So now let us mark these two over here, these two as paramesonephric ducts, and they are also known as the Mullerian ducts. These two structures are very important. A pair of paramesonephric ducts or Mullerian ducts which are lying medial to the pair of Wolffian ducts or mesonephric ducts in urorectal septum. It should be very clear. No complications. So therefore, now in urorectal septum, we are having presence of total 4 ducts, right and left, right and left. The medial will be paramesonephric ducts or Mullerian ducts, and the lateral will be mesonephric ducts or Wolffian ducts. So this is stage 3, which is over. Now we enter stage 4. Very interesting. It is very interesting. Now in stage 4, what will happen will be the caudal end of urorectal septum will fuse with the cloacal membrane in 7th week. So in the 7th week, the caudal edge of this urorectal septum will fuse with the cloacal membrane, and therefore after the fusion, the cloacal duct will disappear. The cloacal duct has to simply disappear because of fusion of urorectal septum with cloacal membrane. So therefore, that is what we need to show. And therefore, when we show, what we will show will be, first we will remove this cloacal duct, and then we will show that how this will fuse with the cloacal membrane. So therefore here we are going to show that this is how it will fuse. This is how the urorectal septum will fuse with the cloacal membrane. This is where it will fuse. Area of fusion of urorectal septum with cloacal membrane will develop into perineal body. That area will develop into perineal body. So here, this structure which I have drawn is that of perineal body. So what is the development of perineal body? It is nothing but the fusion of caudal end of urorectal septum with cloacal membrane that will develop into perineal body. Now, as a result of this fusion, the entire cloacal membrane is divided into 2 parts, ventral portion, dorsal portion. The ventral portion of the membrane will be known as urogenital membrane. So that urogenital membrane I am going to show over here. This is where I show the urogenital membrane. Ventral, it is called urogenital membrane, and with proper diagram we are going to show that this is how that membrane is present. And dorsally, it will be known as anal membrane. So dorsally I am going to show the anal membrane. Here we are going to show this orifice over here. We are going to show the anal membrane. This is where we show the anal membrane. So therefore now this we will write it as urogenital membrane. This is where we will mention this as urogenital membrane, and here this will be the anal membrane. So we will mention this as anal membrane. One mark question answer. How urogenital membrane and anal membrane is formed? The urogenital and anal membrane are divided from cloacal membrane by what structure? By the caudal end of urorectal septum when it joins the cloacal membrane. Therefore, the cloacal duct is abolished, it is removed. And as a result of joining of caudal end of urorectal septum with cloacal membrane, the cloacal membrane is split into two different membranes. One membrane which is lying anteriorly, which is called urogenital membrane. Another membrane which will lie posteriorly, which will be known as anal membrane. And what is perineal body? Very simple. Perineal body is developed because of the fusion of caudal end of urorectal septum with that of the cloacal membrane. That area will develop into perineal body. So now we are having two different divisions, ventral, dorsal. The ventral is called urogenital sinus, primitive urogenital sinus, and dorsal is called the primitive rectum. Now the primitive rectum will develop into rectum and anal canal. Rectum and anal canal. So therefore, if you mention over here this primitive rectum, now you can write it as it will develop into rectum as well as anal canal. This is where this structure will develop. If you come to primitive urogenital sinus, now please see this flow chart. The primitive urogenital sinus will now develop or will divide into two parts. Number one, vesico-urethral part. Please mention this, I am going to explain you. Vesico-urethral part, upper half, proximal, and lower part, it will be known as pelvic as well as phallic portion. These two are the lower segments, pelvic portion as well as phallic portion. So total three parts. The upper part is called vesico-urethral part, and the lower part is divided into two, the upper pelvic, lower phallic. Now I am going to explain on this side. Please come on this side. This is very important, this segment. We will focus here. The two, coming back to the Wolffian ducts and Mullerian ducts. Now the caudal end of the two mesonephric ducts, these are the two mesonephric ducts, Wolffian ducts, will open into dorsal part of urogenital sinus. They are opening in dorsal part of urogenital sinus. And as they open in the dorsal part of urogenital sinus here, it will divide the urogenital sinus into two segments, upper, lower. Now this upper segment will be known as here vesico-urethral part. This segment will be known as vesico-urethral part, from which urinary bladder will develop. Vesico-urethral part which will develop into urinary bladder. And the lower part will be known as pelvic and phallic portion. So here this portion will be known as pelvic portion. In the pelvic portion of urogenital sinus, the pelvic portion in its dorsal wall, it will receive the caudal end of mesonephric ducts. So the caudal end of mesonephric ducts, Wolffian ducts, will open in the dorsal wall of pelvic portion of urogenital sinus. And in males, this opening will be known as the common, that is the ejaculatory ducts. They will form the ejaculatory ducts. So the caudal end of mesonephric ducts, as they open in the dorsal wall of the pelvic portion, in males they are called ejaculatory ducts, in case of females they will disappear. This much is necessary. So the caudal end of the opening of mesonephric ducts will open in the dorsal wall of the pelvic portion. But before that, as they open, they will divide the entire primitive urogenital sinus into two parts, upper vesico-urethral part and lower pelvic and phallic portion. But in the dorsal wall of pelvic portion, the caudal end of the mesonephric ducts will open as the... So therefore, now we come to phallic portion. So here, I will just mention this as this portion will be the phallic portion. Very clear, it should be very clear. The most inferior segment of urogenital sinus is called phallic portion. Pelvic portion, phallic portion. Now in the dorsal wall of the phallic portion, there will be opening of the caudal end of the remaining two ducts. Which are the remaining two ducts? Paramesonephric ducts, or they are called Mullerian ducts. So the caudal end of the Mullerian ducts, which will form Mullerian eminence, they will form the Mullerian eminence. They will then open into the dorsal wall of the pelvic portion. Not pelvic but phallic portion. Because the dorsal wall of the pelvic portion will receive opening of caudal end of mesonephric ducts. And the dorsal wall of phallic portion will receive the opening of caudal end of paramesonephric ducts. Therefore, we are going to draw the two paramesonephric ducts. See here, this is how they are opening here. This is where we show they will open in the dorsal wall of the phallic portion. Simple. Very simple it should be, where we are going to show how they form the Mullerian eminence. These two paramesonephric ducts, their caudal end will form Mullerian eminence. This is Mullerian eminence. But they will open as Mullerian eminence in the dorsal part of the phallic portion. Now here, this dorsal part of phallic portion, in case of males, it will develop into colliculus seminalis, which is a prostatic urethra, which is a part of prostatic urethra in males. So therefore, the caudal end of the Mullerian eminence, which is opening in the dorsal wall of the phallic portion, will, in case of males, develop into colliculus seminalis, a part of prostatic urethra in males. In females, it will develop into hymenal membrane. This is very much asked in 1 mark question answer. So therefore, if we come on this side, please come on this side. Very simple. It is basically very simple. Here we write the pelvic portion, and here we will mention the phallic portion of urogenital sinus. Now, in case of the pelvic portion, the mesonephric ducts, they will develop, in case of males, they will develop as ejaculatory ducts. In case of females, they will disappear. So the lower end of mesonephric ducts, when they open in the pelvic portion, dorsal wall of pelvic portion of urogenital sinus, they will develop into ejaculatory ducts in case of males. In females, they will disappear. Whereas the paramesonephric ducts, the caudal end of paramesonephric ducts, they are called Mullerian eminence. And in case of males, the Mullerian eminence, they will form colliculus seminalis, which is a part of prostatic urethra in case of males. And where are the paramesonephric ducts, that is Mullerian eminence, opening in the dorsal wall of the phallic portion. In case of females, they will form the hymenal membrane. They will form the hymenal orifice, the hymenal membrane. That is the Mullerian eminence, the caudal end of paramesonephric ducts, when they open in the dorsal wall of the phallic portion of the urogenital sinus in case of females. So at this stage, in embryogenesis part 2, we have completely discussed about the growth of urorectal septum, what are the structures in urorectal septum, the two pairs of ducts, and how it divides the entire endodermal cloaca into two different segments, the urogenital sinus and the primitive rectum. Primitive rectum will develop into rectum and anal canal, and the urogenital sinus, primitive urogenital sinus, will develop into vesicourethral part and pelvic and phallic portion. The vesicourethral part will develop into urinary bladder, and similarly the other two structures, pelvic and phallic portion, will receive the terminations of mesonephric ducts, that is Wolffian duct, and paramesonephric duct, that is Mullerian duct. Thank you very much.